up, you guys? Good morning. It's like 9 in the morning right now, which is way earlier than I usually film, but I have a mission today. Tomorrow is Saturday. Today is Friday. Tomorrow there is a quilt show happening here at our fairgrounds. It's inside, but so it's like an indoor quilt show that is like gonna have a ton of beautiful quilts to look at, vendors, raffles, etc. And I gathered the girlies who love to quilt, my 3 best friends, and we're going to the quilt show tomorrow. Now, I have quilted garments, of course, that I've made on this channel and just made in general. Have a few quilted vests that I could wear, but I want to make a jacket for tomorrow. I want to make a new garment for tomorrow. Just woke up today and chose violets, and now I want to make a whole jacket in one day. So I'm gonna make a pattern that I've had actually purchased for a couple of months at this point, and I've had it like cut out ready to go because this is the quilt jacket pattern that I was gonna try and make with my baby quilt project that I ended up having to make a vest out of because I didn't have a big enough quilt. This is a jacket from Danielle LeRae Studios, or LeRae Handmade. I'll put a picture of it here, but it is essentially a jacket pattern made to be made from an existing quilt. And so this is a really good pattern to use if you find a quilt and you want to make a cool jacket out of it. This is great. I had cut out this pattern, planned to make this jacket out of that baby quilt vest, and then because it didn't work out, I no longer had a quilt to make it out of. So I just held on to the pattern and I was like hoping that I would find one, but I got impatient and I was at Joann, obviously perusing the fabric as I do. This was at this point a couple of months ago, and I found this fabric, which you can tell I already quilted it. We'll get to that in a second, but I found this adorable fabric. This is Quilter's Showcase fabric from Joann, which is like, usually Joann will have like one long aisle of quilting cotton that they call Quilter Showcase. It's in a bunch of fun prints, and when it goes on like their doorbuster sale, it's like $2.99 a yard. So it's very affordable. It's definitely like a little bit more like a stiff quilting cotton, has good crinkle when you wash it, but it's not like garment fabric typically. So this is gonna be an example of how you can make garments out of really cheap quilting cotton. Make quilted garments, hello. It's gonna be amazing. So, I mean, when I saw this gingham with these ants on it, I absolutely fell in love. I'm such a sucker for like picnic themed things. I feel like the first thing that I saw that really like changed my brain chemistry about ants on a picnic blanket was the Susan Alexandra beaded purse. That's like a gingham beaded purse with little beaded ants on it. That really lives in my brain all the time. I love that bag. And since then I've just been obsessed with that motif. And then when I saw this fabric and it was on sale, had to have her. I bought a few yards. I knew I was gonna make a jacket with it. Over the last couple of weeks, I've just done like little things here and there. I'll insert the clips that I've taken of what I've done so far, but basically I just cut big pieces of this fabric around the shape of the pattern pieces, not like cutting the pattern, but just like big blobs that surround the pattern. And I made a quilt sandwich and quilted all of the pieces. So like this is the back piece of the jacket. And what I ended up doing was just black on the back and white squiggle quilting. I cannot get away from the squiggle quilt line. Like, it's so easy, it's so forgiving. You don't have to measure really. I mean, you can, but I don't. And it just looks so fun and cute. I have the back piece. I have the 2 pocket pieces. I have the 2 mirrored jacket pieces, or front jacket pieces. And then the 2 sleeves. I had the pieces as like giant, not cut quilted pieces for a really long time. And then yesterday I had a couple minutes and I went ahead and just cut them into jacket pieces. But even yesterday I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off before Saturday because I also have to work today. Anyways, my brain cannot let go of the idea that I want to wear this quilted jacket to the quilt show tomorrow. It's probably too hot to even wear it, but it is indoors. So this pattern obviously would be easier to make if you just cut the pieces out of an existing quilt and went from there. But I really wanted it in this fabric and I didn't have a quilt at the time. I actually do now because I've thrifted a few, but it's okay. We're making an Aunt Gingham picnic themed jacket. Is this not the perfect material project jacket to like transition from summer to fall? Like it's a summery print, but it's giving like fall jacket vibes. I think it's the perfect time to do this before we get into fall projects. The next project will be Halloween themed. Throwing that out there. This jacket has essentially like bias tape around the entire thing. I have like a masochistic relationship with bias tape because it is very hard to sew, but it looks so cute. I picked out this double fold bias tape that is in this like grass green color, and I thought that would be so fun and like picnicky to have the grass green around the edge of the whole jacket. Thank you so much for joining. Let's make a quilt jacket in one day if we can. We're going to the quilt show, like I'm leaving to pick them up at noon and we're getting lunch and then we're going. So it's pretty early. So this has got to happen, you guys. Quilt jacket loading now. This is a pretty simple jacket construction, I think. It's kind of like a wide oversized fit. And I should also say, I decided to make size medium in this pattern, and I don't know, it's kind of just guessing based on a jacket that I have that I like how it fits, because my intention for the jacket is I want it to fit cropped. I'm making the crop version. I want it to be like cropped enough where it's like pretty short so that when I'm wearing like high-waisted pants and shorts, it sits at a flattering length. So one of the things that I want to do that's an option in the pattern is a little split. This is kind of hard to explain without showing it, but the jacket has like an option where you can have it like curl up and then back down, like a little swoop, and the bias tape goes around like that. So it's like a really cute cropped shape, and I want to do that. I decided to use like the cheapest type of batting that I could find, which is like the really thin like polyester batting. I don't think I'd buy this again. It's very fibery and kind of like sheds a lot. It's a little bit hard to work with. I do like the way it feels like in the jacket, but I think sticking to like warm and natural or just like a cotton batting is probably a better idea. If I wanted to try it, you never know. I frequently forget to like change the settings on my sewing machine. I kind of just always sew with the same stitch length and tension. That's something, pinning this as something I should probably focus on getting better at with sewing. Okay, I legitimately think I just burned the polyester. Like, look at how thin it got right there. Okay, can you not iron this? Am I crazy? It also steamed up and now it's crunchy. Okay, flop. I'm not gonna be ironing this like that anymore. It said to press the seam open, so I did, but maybe I just need to like be very like with it, you know, like quick. Damn, lost the puffiness on front of my jacket. Like, how can they even sell polyfill that you can't iron? That's, or like batting. What? I guess maybe I should turn my iron down. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, guys. There is a poly setting on my iron. Who would have known? Who would have known? Okay, so this jacket uses techniques of like bias tape to finish the inside of the jacket. Like not in the traditional way that you would use bias tape, but like, I guess there's really no traditional way. But basically like you just unfold it and like sew it over the seam like that to enclose it. My plan is to do all of the stitching that's going to be visible on the outside of the jacket in white, which is the thread color that I quilted it with, and then So even though I'm about to sew the green bias tape on the inside, I'm gonna do it with white so that the stitches on the other side are white. And then any of the bias tape that's like visible accents on the garment, I'm gonna do with a coordinating thread. Guys, also, I am using the like recommended method for finishing the seams in this, which is bias tape, which I think is my preferred method as well for like this kind of a garment. But I did just acquire a serger. I am so excited. I found it at an estate sale and it was $100. It's the Singer Tiny Serger. And it was $100 and I was like, I just don't know. I also don't know that much about sergers, so I couldn't tell if it was like a good thing to buy, like if it was in good condition or whatever. And my friend Andrea pulled up to the estate sale like literally 30 minutes after I left and bartered the hell out of it. Said it looked like it was in great condition, but bartered it and got it for $40. And she bought it for me and she tested it for me. She has a serger, so she's more knowledgeable. And I'm so excited. So now I have a Singer Tiny Serger. It's like literally like this big. It bare minimum, it just kind of like overlocks. It doesn't like cut fabric and stuff the way some do. But I could not be more excited. So I'm gonna be making more garments and have a serger, which is so hype. So I'm not using it for this project. Also, I wanna do something more simple than like serging quilted pieces because they're so thick. So we'll be experimenting with her. You will see her soon, but I'm so excited. I put it out in the universe. I want to find a serger secondhand and I found one. I'm so happy. Will you guys comment and tell me, are you folks who sew over pins or would you never sew over a pin? I feel that this says a lot about who you are and what kind of crafter and sewist you are. Me, the fear, the anxiety, thinking I'm gonna go blind, thinking everything. I will never, ever, 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 ever sew over a pin intentionally. I see people on Instagram just sewing over pins and I'm like, holy shit, we are not the same. So that is how the creator recommends like doing the inner seams, which actually looks like pretty good. This is what the top looks like now that I had to seam over it. Okay, now she does say that this is the most challenging part, is kind of connecting this insane piece to the back. Right sides together. Is this right? I can't tell. This is like kind of a weird jacket construction. Like I feel like this is not right, but I can't tell and I'm stressed. Okay, I think that's right. I'm really excited to be like learning this technique. I think this is a cool way to learn how to like finish exposed seams and stuff. So I am glad to be learning something. That's like my number one way that I learn personally is by like buying patterns or looking at patterns or reading patterns and having to figure it out based on like language and what you know and like that. I mean, truly, you guys, like that's how I became like an advanced crocheter, was just like I probably own like 100 crochet patterns that if I haven't made them, I've read through them and at least like tried to understand what's going on. I also love buying books with patterns. I'm not really like a video tutorial person. I think if I were to do this again, I would maybe give myself like, I did a little bit of like a scant 1/4 inch. I think a little bit more than a 1/4 inch would have actually been more helpful. So she says at this point, go ahead and try it on. So I just tried it on. It's just pinned on the sides. I'm just trying to decide how much of a little swoop I want, but I love the crop on this. Like this, my jumpsuit hits like here. This is like perfect. I want it to be like the most cropped jacket that I have. So I don't know how like this neckline's gonna sit because obviously it does like a little bit of like a fold over situation. I don't know if it's gonna do that, like the final jacket will do that, or if it'll sit more up like this. I don't know, but it's cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew the sides together, and then it's like 10 something now. I really have to go to some work meetings and do some work stuff. So I'm gonna do that. Return to this afternoon. But I mean, I have close to a jacket. So right now it's just gonna be, I'm gonna leave it at the point where when I come back to it, it'll be attaching the sleeves and then doing the pockets and all the binding. I'm like, that kind of sounds like a lot. I'm back. How am I gonna sew this? Okay, I feel like that was extremely glazed over in the pattern, that like it's very, very hard to sew down the sleeve straight like that. My line is like so wonky too because it's really hard to sew like that. I don't know.
That was one of the wildest things.
So I got a little bit carried away, continued sewing. Now I have sleeves attached to the jacket and bias tape around the cuffs. So I'm working on the bias tape on the pockets, and then literally all that's left is attaching the pockets to the front of the jacket and then doing the bias tape around the perimeter, which is going to be like one really, really long piece of bias tape. So let's try it on. I'll show you what it's looking like. So because of the cut of the jacket, I don't know if this is supposed to like flip down or if it's supposed to kind of sit like that. Not sure. Something to note if you want to make this pattern, I am like very traditionally like a large. Like if I was gonna buy a jacket, I would usually buy it in the size large. And I told you guys I made the medium. The sleeves and stuff are really, really, really long. And I'm 5'10", so I have really long arms. So keep that in mind. I think it's like designed to be cuffed like this. But then you see like this weird piece of bias tape. I kind of wish I had done black bias tape for the inner parts so that that would be like more seamless, but it does look cute cuffed either way. Plus I like long, like cozy sleeves, so this does not bother me. What would bother me is it being too short. Now I will also say, because I made like the most cropped version, the pockets look massive, but I think I like it. It's like literally the entirety of the front of the jacket, but still cute. So now comes the extremely fun part where I get to figure out how much bias tape I need for the perimeter of this thing. These are 3-yard packs. I have 2 left plus this scrap, so it should definitely be enough, but I might need to attach it. I guess I could just sew and go and see. I'm gonna start from the inside so that when my seams inevitably don't line up like that, it won't look as ugly. That's my pro tip. I did the bias tape method for every seam except for the one around the arm, which I just zigzag stitched because I just did not have the patience to, at lightning speed, put bias tape on because I'm trying to work fast. So I'm gonna wear it a little bit and see, but I'll probably add bias tape to that seam or those seams at a later date. The other weird thing about this is I have to figure out how to do bias tape on that sort of an edge. So that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be a new skill unlocked. Honestly, if this was finished better, the green and black is kind of a slay. Okay, I'm at the curve. This is gonna be interesting. I think the best way to do it is just go right up to the seam allowance and leave the needle and then pivot it, but I don't know, it's just a wacky curve, so let's see. Wait, how the hell do I do this? Oh no, this might be so jank. That might be so jank. SOS. This is actually crazy, but it might be like literally exactly the correct amount. Or I'm gonna sew it all the way like this and it's gonna be a pain in the ass because I'm gonna need to add like that much to it. Listen, don't do bias tape attachment like this. I don't know how to actually do it, okay? I do it my own jank way. Okay, I actually do know like the proper way to do it and I'm learning, but we're not doing that right now because I'm trying to get this done. So I just finished doing the bias tape halfway, and I was just looking at the pocket and I realized this is like a raw seam. I think I may have misread the instructions and I was maybe supposed to tuck this more in, but it said to leave like extra length. So I don't know. I might have to go in and, I don't know, maybe like put some type of stitch or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it for now, but when I go back and potentially mend some of the other things like the zigzags, I might do that as well. Good morning, you guys. It is the day of the quilt show. It is so hot today. Like, we had a few days that were cooler and now it is extremely hot. I don't think I'm gonna be able to wear my jacket to the quilt show after all of this. Don't worry though, because I'm still gonna wear my quilted bingo vest. Like, I still think that'll be super cute and show off my quilting, but I'm bummed because I really wanted to wear my new jacket. The jacket is complete and I have some thoughts, but first let me try it on and I'll show you. I do think this jacket looks really, really cute when you cuff the sleeve as well. So when I wear it, I probably will wear it like cuffed, depending on what I have underneath it. But I think it's so cute. Like, I definitely love it. I love the vibes. My thoughts on like the pattern and just like the whole situation with it. So it's a jacket that doesn't have like ties or buttons, right? So like, and it's very like drop shoulder oversized. So like if you're like moving around and stuff, like the jacket will kind of like do that. Do you guys know what I mean? Like when you're wearing something like this, happens to me with like some like sweater patterns too. Like when I crochet a sweater, if the shoulder part doesn't like fit that well, it'll kind of like slide weird, slide up, slide whatever. So I'm not obsessed with that. Like I almost want to add some kind of a closure to just like keep it at least a little bit secure. Like I said, I made the medium and this is very, very big for a medium. So if you make this pattern, keep that in mind. Like I still think it fits me bigger than like a large normally would. I do love like the Scandi sort of vibes that this pattern has. Like I think that's really, really cute. I love the way the pockets look. The pockets like literally make it for me. But in the most cropped version, the pockets are huge. Like they literally like, it's like gripping my boobs when I put my hands in these pockets. But I still think it's so fucking adorable. I mean, the main thing I love is just the prints that I picked. Like I love the green with the ant gingham. It's just so cute. So I'm happy with it, even though I can't wear it to the quilt show. I will definitely get so much wear out of this when the weather drops. And I'm really excited. The last thing that I want to mention about the pattern that I think is weird is that it tells you to sew the pockets down over top the existing stitch that you did for the binding, which makes it not sit flat on the jacket. And then they also say to like fold this under when you sew over. But that leaves like this raw edge like I showed you guys. So I think I'm gonna sew down along the outside and just tack it fully down because I think it'll just look better and be more functional. That is a wrap on this little busted out quilted jacket. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you in the next one. Get ready for Halloween!